Okay, so let's get started. Welcome and happy Friday, everyone. Today we're going to be talking to some amazing people. Welcome to this session of An Eye for Design. We have a few different individuals from different organizations with us today. I'm going to introduce you ladies, and then I will kind of ask that you tell us a little bit about how you got into this field, what excited you about it, what drew you to it, what was your career story, if that's okay. And then if you'd like to share like a day in the life of, I think our students would be very interested in hearing that. So today we have with us Allison Good and Georgia Carter from Nebraska Furniture Mart. We also have with us Angelique from Mod Lab Designs and Jillian from Jillian Lair Interior Design. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for being here today. Let's first start with Allison. Allison, do you mind just sharing a little bit about what it is that drew you to this field?
So I always tell my story as like I have wanted to do this for as long as I can remember. I remember growing up playing like Barbies with my sister and our friends, and the house was always more important to me than the clothes and the Barbies themselves. So I've always been definitely more creative than book smart, and so I just kind of took that to my advantage, and I pursued a career that is creative, and I love it. I love getting to do this every single day. I went to the University of Central Arkansas, which is right outside of Little Rock, and I spent 3.5 years there getting my degree in interior design. So we took a lot of different classes, such as like residential and commercial design, history of design. We learned a bunch of different programs, 3D and 2D programs, to create floor plans and like 3D mock-ups of spaces. And then just a quick day in the life. Day to day, it's never the same. Where I work at Nebraska Furniture Mart, I do have to be a salesperson as well as an interior designer. So I do have to focus a lot on selling furniture. But I also get to go out to clients' homes, and we go out and measure, take pictures, kind of ask them what they're hoping to do with the space that they are looking to get help with. And then we can come back to work and we do some floor plans, some 3D models for them. We have the clients come into the store and show them everything that we put together, as well as furniture that we've picked for them, fabrics if necessary. And just kind of go from there. As far as then I do sell them the furniture as well. So it's a fun job. Like I said, it's never the same every day. There's something different that we get to do. So I like it. It keeps me on my toes, and I get to be creative every day. So I love it.
That sounds amazing. And on the screen here, we have some of your designs. I don't know if you want to kind of walk us through, or at least kind of tell us a little bit about how you set these rooms up.
Sure. Well, that first one is actually, it used to be a old school building, and they turned it into apartments for, I think it was in wherever Iowa State's at, I can't remember, Ames, Iowa. So it was fun. I got to travel there from Omaha and do this cool, I did their entire space. So from start to finish, I got to do the bedrooms, the office, everything. So that was a fun little space to do. And just, as you can see, beautiful natural light. The windows are just huge. So it was a lot of fun to do that one. These other three are homes in Omaha. That bottom right corner is a wine tasting space. So to the side that you can't really see, there's like a big wine cellar that I got to put little like bar table in. And then this is where they had their friends over to do wine tastings and stuff. So I get to do fun projects like that, as well as just, some living rooms that it's the heart of the house, I say. I mean, I know people say the kitchen is, but I love doing living rooms. I feel like you can get really creative. It's fun when people are totally open to color and texture, and just really letting me do my own thing and not really having much of an input. Some people are very particular and then others aren't. So all 4 of these, I kind of really got to do my own thing, pick paint colors, everything. So yeah, those are some of my favorite projects I've done.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. Georgia, would you like to go?
Sure. My name is Georgia Carter, and I'm on a different side of design. Allison, she's phenomenal at what she does, but I get to, I don't go to people's homes. I get to actually design in the store, which is a visual merchandiser. That's a different side of design, which I only do in store. I don't go to people's homes, but I do. I'll get to that later. First of all, I'm a graduate of the University of Georgia. I'm from Georgia. I've been up here for 35 years, so I consider myself a Nebraskan. The way I started, my major was fashion and marketing. That's what reason I started, I intrigued by fashion when I was a younger woman. I just loved fashion, and I modeled for quite a while. But anyway, I did model for quite a while. And then after that, I went into, I had a family. My family started. So I knew that but anyway, but yeah, I decided to go, no, I came up here. First I worked for like a J.C. Penney's. I was the manager of a J.C. Penney's in Georgia. And then they transferred me up here once my husband got orders here. And then I started venturing out, and then I went to Yonkers, and I went to Diller. I went to different department stores. So I've kind of did this, this in visual merchandising thing, a lot of different places. But I was not into furniture. I was totally doing clothing. But then I somehow the job came about in Nebraska Furniture Mart, and I thought it was kind of intimidating at first, furniture, because I dealt with clothing, but it's basically the same thing, your focus is furniture, and you just want to make furniture beautiful, But a day-to-day thing for me is I come in, we get here at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is really early, but we have to be here early so we can get everything beautiful for our clients to come in, because we have to entice them from the moment they walk in. That sets the tone for everything. My passion for this started, I know I'm going back and forth, but my passion started when I was a little girl. I just always, I'm kind of like Allison. I used to make playhouses within my room, and I would take different objects and make them different things because I didn't have everything I wanted. But I was always the weird little girl that did the weird little stuff. But all the kids always wanted to come over and play with me because they knew, and I would do these different things. But this is so funny, but my grandma, I remember her going to church, and I remember her putting on lipstick and how pretty she looked. And I just thought, everything I do in life, I just want it to be pretty. And so that's kind of how that go. I know I went around about her, but that's kind of the way I started into this. But a day at the mart is never the same. And Allison can tell you, that's the beauty of what I do. I get to do so many different things, and we have like 9 people on our team, and I'm in the design gallery. That's where my focus is, design gallery. So, and then we have someone that's for bedroom, when all they do all day long is enhance and please our customer's eye, and and that's what I do. So that's where I come in.
I love that. I love making everything pretty. That's like speaking to my heart. So thank you. Thank you for that. Anjali, thank you for coming with us today. Can you please tell us about how you got involved in this field?
Yes. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you for having me. And my name is Anjali Oz. I own Mod Lab Designs in Lincoln, Nebraska. And just a little bit of background about me and how I kind of came into the field was, from just my entire life, I absolutely always was looking to create order and beauty kind of at the same time. I wanted to, have a very organized space along with it being, aesthetically pleasing. So that kind of was instilled in me from when I was a small child onward. And then in high school, I actually took a course on interior design and realized, oh my gosh, this is what I've been doing the whole time. I love it. So I then went on to attend the University of Nebraska's College of Architecture and got my bachelor's degree. So from there, I have been designing for the last 10 years or so, but I absolutely love designing. I have done a number of different areas of design. I have done both commercial and residential. I started out right after college. I moved to Colorado. I joined a firm and flew around the country designing it for builders. So I got to pick all the paint colors. I got to pick flooring. I got to design, custom walls, things like that. And then, once you've decided those things, you get to then decide on all of the furniture, the accessories, the bedding, just everything. So kind of from start to finish, I was involved in the process. It was, it's just super fun. I got to travel. It was exciting. So, design has just definitely been my passion. And then a few years later, let's see, my husband got a job in Lincoln. So obviously followed him back and moved here. And I worked at a local firm here for a few years and then decided, let's take the plunge. Let's, launch my own business. It's so exciting. It's so fun to do. And then I have the freedom to do whatever I want. So about a year ago, I launched Mod Lab Designs and have not looked back. It's been absolutely wonderful. I'm trying to think, a day in the life. Okay, as actually Allison and Georgia pointed out, every day is different. And that is what we love about design, is that we're never bored. It's fun. You're getting phone calls, then you're going out to job sites, you're coming back. So you're never bored, which for me, that was a huge, huge thing. I'm like, I don't want to be sitting behind a screen all day. Some of it is behind a screen. I will give you that. I've done, we do 3D modeling and things like that, but it's actually fun because then you're creating a space. So it's nice. You do all different things. It's exciting. It's never the same. So yeah.
So Anjali, we do have some of your designs here on the screen. Do you mind walking us through?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one with that kind of orange background, that one was a townhouse I did in a suburb of Seattle, Washington. So that one was incorporating kind of some fun mid-century modern vibes without overdoing it. So adding that kind of rich orange tone paired with a wallpaper just really created different depths, different textures. It was super, super fun to do. The kitchen there is a remodel I did. If you had seen it in the past, oh my gosh, the walls were yellow tile and it was just crazy. So completely gutted it, took it down to studs, redid the walls, chose, a neutral palette to kind of calm the space down because it was quite small. So having yellow everywhere is not okay. So, just that neutral palette is great. It's marketable, really fun. Let's see, the other one is, let's see here. Okay, so that is Children's Museum in Lincoln, Nebraska. So I did their remodel. I think it's been about 2 years since I did that, maybe about a year and a half. And we redid some paint colors and flooring. One great thing I did was I kind of applied those principles of design. I looked for pattern and then wayfinding when I did the carpet pattern. So as you travel throughout the space, you can see that there are those colored pieces. They get closer together as you come to either a staircase or an elevator because you know that you're changing levels. And then each floor had a different color composition. So you could tell, if a kid's like not sure where they are within the museum and they're, messaging their mom, they're like, okay, well, the carpet's this color. So mom's like, oh, okay, you're here, I can find you. So a big part of that was wayfinding and just kind of logic along with, playing with color and having a ton of fun. And then let's see here. Okay, so the last one was a remodel. And again, it was a complete gut. We took things down to studs. We opened up walls. So we had to look into the structure and see, can we do this? Will the walls stay up? And we took from, let's see here, just honey oak. We took it all down to neutral palette. And then I wanted to add in a little bit of color so that it had a little bit more depth. So I added in navy blue along with that neutral background. And it really created a wonderful, sophisticated feel. And actually that one I did get an award for at ASAD. So, that project was really fun to do. It took quite a while because we, gutted it. But yeah, it was a great project.
Thank you. And I love the concept of wayfinding. See, this is
absolutely.
all very new to me. So I love this. This is great.
Mhm.
Thank you for all that information.
Yeah.
Jillian, last but not least, please explain who you are and how you got into this field.
Well, I took a little bit of a circuitous route into design. I was the kid who was always into art, took the art classes. I took lessons in painting through college. But when I was in high school, we didn't really have a strong arts program where I went to school, and we weren't really exposed to opportunities for careers in design. And about the only thing we knew you could do was be an architect, and I didn't want to do that, even though I was interested in it. So anyway, my parents, were all about me getting a practical degree. So I actually went to engineering school. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, up by Scranton, which we all know because that's where our president was born. And so I grew up there, and I went to Lehigh University, which is a little bit south of there, got an engineering degree, and spent basically the entirety of my engineering career in semiconductor manufacturing out on the West Coast, so specifically Intel Corporation. And I enjoyed parts of it, but I also felt really trapped sitting in a cubicle all day. And I knew pretty much from the beginning I wasn't really going to be happy doing that for a long period of time. And so I started looking into what were opportunities where I could express the artistic, creative side of myself, but also do something that took my engineering education into account as well. So I was actually an industrial engineer, which is very heavily concerned with optimization and human factors. And I did actually do engineering work that was related to optimizing space and looking at how people move through space. So it was a natural, to me, it was a natural fit, interior design to piggyback on top of industrial engineering. So I moved to Iowa a little over 10 years ago, about 13 years ago now. My husband grew up here and he went to Iowa State, and he's a landscape architect. And so I got a master's degree in interior design from Iowa State. They have a program where you don't need to have a bachelor's degree in interior design. To get a master's, you kind of piggyback some undergraduate interior design classes onto your graduate classes. So it's called a first professionals degree. And there are other schools that do this too, because I looked into other programs. So I graduated in 2013 with a master's. My research was focused heavily on visualization. So like, how do we present our designs to clients, and then color theory. And I kind of worked, I've been working in interior design this whole time too, as a design assistant, as a drafter. And then I actually got hired into the faculty at Iowa State, and I taught there for 5 years in the College of Design. So I taught freshmen, sophomore, and juniors from their first design studies classes, residential design, drafting, drawing, rendering, which is visual depiction of your designs, whether it be hand or computer, and then assisted living design and retail design. And then when I had my son in 2017, after the end of 2018, I launched my firm, and now I have a residential design firm here in Des Moines. I am actually starting a new firm in about a month with a partner. And so it has been just me, but now there'll be 2 of us. And I also have like a part-time drafter. So that is kind of how I got to where I am. And like the others said, no day is the same. Every day is different. I do a lot of computer work, drafting and things like that. There's a whole lot of back end to this business. If you end up owning your own business, you pretty much design about 20% of the time and you run the business 80% of the time, or manage client relationships 80% of the time. But yeah, we're out in the field a lot, on construction sites quite a bit, interfacing with contractors and vendors, sourcing materials, meeting with clients. So actually, I'm always wishing for a day where I'm just in my office getting work done, because it seems like we're always out. So
Yes, I can understand why you'd have both sides of that, right? Definitely some of that office work that needs to be done as well. Jillian, before we end here real quick, do you mind just kind of giving us a rundown of what we're seeing?
Yeah, so that first picture top left, that's a living room shot from a first floor remodel that we did in Ankeny. So we reconfigured and redesigned that entire first floor of that house. So kitchen, living room, sunroom, dining room, powder room, mud room, laundry room, and just gave it complete, like, gut to the studs and complete makeover. So that was one view of the living room. Top right was a dining space that was part of a kitchen remodel. So that was actually in a sunroom that we opened up to the kitchen to make it one space. And bottom left is another kitchen remodel that we did in Grimes, Iowa, Grimes, Iowa. Again, opening up the space. Everybody wants, open spaces and direct sight lines from kitchen to living. So we're doing a lot of that in older homes that didn't have that open feeling. And then bottom right, that was another main floor makeover where we did the kitchen, and we did this marble fireplace that was made to look like a solid slab of, I think it was marble. It was marble or quartzite. And so basically that was a complete first floor makeover as well.
Wow. Well, ladies, thank you so much for all those designs. At this time, I'd love to see if any of our attendees have any questions. And while we wait for them to write those in the chat, I would love to know, since our population of who's watching today do tend to be high school students, what classes in high school do you think most benefited you for success in this career? Allison, do you mind starting?
Yeah, so I did take an interior design class. I think we only had one. So once I was done with it, I was pretty bummed, but that obviously was pretty beneficial. I did take art classes every single semester too. I always made sure that I was loaded up and took, I'm pretty sure, every single art class that existed. And I took FACS too, like cooking and stuff like that. So like I was saying earlier, anything creative that you can do, I feel like will benefit you. The other thing is math class is important, honestly. And everybody thinks I'm weird. I love math. That was definitely, besides art, one of my favorite classes in high school. So those are pretty, you use math every single day. So I think it's important to pay attention in those as well.
Great, thank you. Anybody else like to join?
I will say, yeah, absolutely all the art classes you can take. If you have an interior design class, obviously jump in there. Another thing that will put you ahead if you're pursuing a degree in design is taking any CAD or 3D modeling classes that are available. If you have them at your school, definitely take them, because that will put you ahead when you get into college of any sort. You'll have that background knowledge, so you'll be able to really just jump in with both feet and pursue design while you're not having to backtrack and learn the software.
So you mentioned like 3D and the CAD and all that. So what are the trends moving forward in design? Jillian?
Well, in the field in general, I think we're seeing a big push towards sustainability, and also something called Biophilia, which is taking into account health and wellness and natural elements into your space. So, oh gosh, the most rudimentary way to like put it is bringing nature inside to support our health and wellness. So things like green walls, where you're planting an entire wall, using natural and organic materials whenever possible. And that goes really hand in hand with sustainability as well. I also see that we're making a big push towards multi-generational design, which is actually a huge part of certain cultures, but more than one generation living under the same roof. And then in addition to that, when we're designing our spaces, planning for longevity in the home. So making sure not necessarily that it's ADA accessible, so fully accessible like a commercial space would have to be, but that the home has features that would accommodate somebody who wanted to live there as long as possible into their life. So I think those are big trends that we're going to see and continue to focus on.
Thank you. We do have a question here. It says, for interior design, do you have to be good at art, or is it just the elements of art that are focused on?
You don't have to be good at fine art.
Fine art. Georgia, do you have a response for that?
You don't have to, I don't feel that you have to be a great artist. You just have to, it's just like she said, it's just you just have to know what you're doing. It's not necessarily you have to be the best, just know how to go about getting, because measurements and it's just so much involved that will help you whether you're a great artist or not. To tell the truth, I'm a horrible artist. But I have such natural ability. Matter of fact, I'm probably the oldest here. I've been in this field I've been doing this for 30 some years, and really and truly, I didn't even go to school for this. And it's just a natural ability that God has given me, So that tells, your students that you don't have to be a great artist, because I'm doing it.
Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us here today. We are about running out of time. I do think you provided not only visual images, but great insight into the field, what it looks like for a day in the life of. I love that there is different aspects. If you're not into this field, you just didn't know. So I didn't know that there was differences between Allison's and Georgia's working at the same company, where one is actually going out and helping and the other one's staging. I have a greater appreciation for when I go into furniture stores or any places like that to say, someone actually did this. This is somebody's job. I think we need to be, aware that there are all these jobs out there that we just don't really think about. So I appreciate you guys bringing that to the forefront for our students. Again, at this time, thank you so very much. And we just appreciate you so much. Have a great Friday.